Hi everybody, this is Preston with Mission Ridge Range and Academy in the Archery department, and it's coming up on bow season, so I figured that we'd make a video to go a little bit over gear and selection and answer some common questions that you might have. We here carry Matthews, Mission, and Hoyt, and we have a lot of different options for each one for any budget and size of shooter, and we'll work you through the setup process and getting a bow fitted to you. But just as a basic entry, when you're looking into archery, it can be difficult to know where to start because bows come in all different weights and speeds and stuff like that. And while it's very nice to be able to get a nice fast bow like the new VXR or the RX4 from Hoyt, it can also be a little bit daunting when you look at the price tag or maybe hard to draw. And that's where bows like the Mission Hammer or the Hoyt Torex might come into play. You can get a bow at maybe a lower price point, add something that's easier to draw and work with at the level that you're at, to work toward the fundamentals and shooting properly. And as you advance into that, you can see what level of commitment you'd like to get into, and then maybe look at upgrading to something faster if you decide that's a thing that you really want to do. One of the other common questions that we get is going to be about releases. There are commonly styles that you hold in your hand and styles that you strap to your wrist. A lot of people like the look of one of these because they think about archery as a thing that you do with your fingers and you draw back like this. We see Robin Hood in the movies and things like that. So we tend to gravitate towards something like this. One of the things that I tell newer shooters though is that when you're holding your release in your hand, it is one more thing to think about as you're working through your shot. It becomes possible to maybe let go of that release to drop it on the ground or fire it while you have the bow at full draw. So usually for entry-level shooters, I'm going to recommend something that you strap to your wrist. There have been a lot of advancements in the wrist strap style releases. They make a lot of them that will fold down and backwards so they stay out of your way as you manipulate your bow. They've also got some with very adjustable triggers so that you can get it shooting exactly the way that you want. There are a lot of different diameters and appearances and price points in arrows as well. And so, when you're looking at getting a new bow, especially for Texas hunting, it's not necessarily too difficult to get an arrow that has enough energy to pass through our whitetail and things of that nature. And so, something in like the Gold Tip Hunter series or the Easton 6.5 will give you a perfectly passable arrow that won't cost you too much money for when you zing one past a deer into our hill country rocks and things. Or then you can also start to get smaller diameter arrows to reduce drag on the way through the target, help you get more penetration and pass through, especially at longer distance. The final thing that we get a lot, people tend to not realize it until they get out into the field, is if you're shooting out of a blind or you have a place you're going to set up and kind of wait for a little bit, is setting your bow on the ground can be a little hit or miss. If there are sticks and things, they can get caught up in your bow, in your cams, and your strings. So it can be a good idea to have something that you can support your bow with. Now the new Matthews Engage limb legs will keep your new Matthews bow without the cam touching the ground, which is a very helpful thing to keep from getting dirt and grime inside of your cams. There are also stationary bow stands for if you're in a blind or things like that, where you don't have to worry about it moving with you. Things like that are a great thing to think about if you haven't already come up with what you're going to do with your bow in a hunting situation. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call or visit us online at missionridgerange.com. For anything that you can't find there, we're always here at the archery counter and happy to help. Have a wonderful rest of your day.